the sun rises across Uganda, a new dawn in luxury living awakens. Solana Lifestyle and Residences is Uganda's newest, most prestigious and award-winning lifestyle destination, an address for those who dream differently. At Solana, you're close enough to the hustle of the city, but far enough to come home to a sanctuary of smart living. Join a community of like-minded individuals where everything is taken care of and safety and security come standard, where each community has a clubhouse, play area, pool, and other incredible features. Let an oasis of calm greet you at the end of each day with manicured gardens, pathways, parks, bicycle tracks, and so much more. Whether you're upscaling or settling down, buying a first home or investing,
Solana has it all. Uganda is now open to the world.
Imagine waking up to a dream where luxury meets tranquility. Welcome to Solana Lifestyle and Residences, a sanctuary of elegance where every detail is curated for your comfort. From impeccable security to serene garden pathways, Solana offers more than a home. It's a lifestyle. Now, your dream is within reach. Solana's exclusive New Year's sale is here. Buy your home today, starting from just $139,000 US. Solana Lifestyle and Residences, now ready for occupancy. Live, work, play, and shop the Solana way. As the sun rises across Uganda, a new dawn in luxury living awakens. Solana Lifestyle and Residences is Uganda's newest, most prestigious and award-winning lifestyle destination, an address for those who dream differently. At Solana, you're close enough to the hustle of the city, but far enough to come home to a sanctuary of smart living. Join a community of like-minded individuals where everything is taken care of and safety and security come standard, where each community has a clubhouse, play area, pool, and other incredible features. Let an oasis of calm greet you at the end of each day with manicured gardens, pathways, parks, bicycle tracks, and so much more. Whether you're upscaling or settling down, buying a first home or investing,
Solana has it all. Uganda is now open to the world.
Imagine Imagine waking up to a dream where luxury meets tranquility. Welcome to Solana Lifestyle and Residences, a sanctuary of elegance where every detail is curated for your comfort. From impeccable security to serene garden pathways, Solana offers more than a home. It's a lifestyle. Now, your dream is within reach. Solana's exclusive New Year's sale is here. Buy your home today, starting from just $139,000 US. Solana Lifestyle and Residences, now ready for occupancy. Live, work, play, and shop the Solana way. Imagine waking up to a dream where luxury meets tranquility. Welcome to Solana Lifestyle and Residences, a sanctuary of elegance where every detail is curated for your comfort. From impeccable security to serene garden pathways, Solana offers more than a home. It's a lifestyle. Now, your dream is within reach. Solana's exclusive New Year's sale is here. Buy your home today, starting from just $139,000 US. Solana Lifestyle and Residences, now ready for occupancy. Live, work, play, and shop the Solana way. As the sun rises across Uganda, a new dawn in luxury living awakens. Solana Lifestyle and Residences is Uganda's newest, most prestigious and award-winning lifestyle destination, an address for those who dream differently. At Solana, you're close enough to the hustle of the city, but far enough to come home to a sanctuary of smart living. Join a community of like-minded individuals where everything is taken care of and safety and security comes standard, where each community has a clubhouse, play area, pool, and other incredible features. Let an oasis of calm greet you at the end of each day with manicured gardens, pathways, parks, bicycle tracks, and so much more. Whether you're upscaling or settling down, buying a first home or investing,
Solana has it all. Uganda is now open to the world.
Imagine waking up to a dream where luxury meets tranquility. Welcome to Solana Lifestyle and Residences, a sanctuary of elegance where every detail is curated for your comfort. From impeccable security to serene garden pathways, Solana offers more than a home. It's a lifestyle. Now, your dream is within reach. Solana's exclusive New Year's sale is here. Buy your home today, starting from just $139,000 US. Solana Lifestyle and Residences, now ready for occupancy. Live, work, play, and shop the Solana way. As the sun rises across Uganda, a new dawn in luxury living awakens. Solana Lifestyle and Residences is Uganda's newest, most prestigious and award-winning lifestyle destination, an address for those who dream differently. At Solana, you're close enough to the hustle of the city, but far enough to come home to a sanctuary of smart living. Join a community of like-minded individuals where everything is taken care of and safety and security come standard, where each community has a clubhouse, play area, pool, and other incredible features. Let an oasis of calm greet you at the end of each day with manicured gardens, pathways, parks, bicycle tracks, and so much more. Whether you're upscaling or settling down, buying a first home or investing,
Solana has it all. Uganda is now open to the world.
Welcome back again. For those of you who had joined us earlier, we apologize. We had to just jump out of the bus a little to just make sure that the tires are moving and everything. But we are back, and thank you so much for joining NSSF Financial Literacy Program. This is the time, this is the next 2 hours where we join into the School of Money. We are going to discuss money. We are going to discuss wealth. We are going to discuss habits, behaviors, and knowledge. And of course, our emphasis being on the last three, because we know when we have the right set of those three, money is a consequence. It will definitely come to you if you have the right behavior, the right attitude, and the right knowledge. My name is Mboa Apollo, and I am your host this morning, and also the headmaster of this school. Thank you so much for joining us and taking off time, taking off your 2 minutes, your precious time of work, and just saying, let's discuss money. This is the School of Money, and as has been ordained and has been suggested by popular vote, that I will be called the headmaster, but not just be called the headmaster. You add a Mr. before the headmaster and add 2 sirs, one at the beginning and the end, and I will make sure that the persons respect that. That's the one rule in this room, where you pay school fees, only school fees is paid by your regrets. Thank you so much. As NSSF, we do this, and if the back office is kind enough to just show you my slides, mine is to usually introduce this conversation and just remind you why we keep doing this. We are going to talk about talent. I've been thinking about what's my talent. Even when we are coming, I was thinking, well, shouldn't we have done this outside? Shouldn't we have done, and we see some practical talent, but then I realized, we need to have an ambulance nearby. But talent, how far can it take you? How do you get yourself to monetize it? Because most of us are solely relying on qualifications. You are relying on the degree. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that a degree, everyone has one. Everyone has one. I mean, there are so many universities graduating that every month of the year there is a graduation. In my days, we used to graduate once in a year, and it was almost a national holiday. But now everyone has one. So if you're relying on qualification, you are not going to get far. So let's tap into talent and see how it relates to your personal development, your wealth development. And why do we do this as NSSF? As we've told you, NSSF, we are doing this because it makes us become of purpose to you. We are not of purpose if we keep taking your money, growing it, and when you are eligible, we are very fast to pay. In 2 days, 3 days, between 2 to 14 days, we are able to have paid you your money, all your life savings. And then that money does not help you. If that money doesn't help you, then as NSSF, we have not been of purpose. So we have these conversations to tell you that you do not lose that money when you got it from NSSF. You started losing this money from the first paycheck. Every month you have been losing money, and your muscles, your financial muscles are used to getting money and losing money, getting money, losing money. Give me NSSF, I will get it and I will lose it. So we have these conversations so that we can have a financially empowered membership. I don't know if Shadrach is kind enough to really show that slide. I need to always put it in your bit, no, the next slide. You'll go back to the first slide a bit, but after this, let's say this and then you go back to that first slide, don't worry. So we do this so that you have a financially empowered membership. We do this so that each of us as members of NSSF have an option. Outside NSSF, do you have an option? Is your money working for you somewhere? We want to do this. We do these conversations so that we reverse those statistics that people got money and lost money. You know those statistics. Yeah, he once got some money and now you can't see that money. And definitely we do this so that we build a financially empowered membership. But while we do this, I will ask Shadrach to go to the previous slide. We are starting from the point of action, and we have redesigned ourselves that every time we start from the point of action. As NSSF, we've been talking about options and we have never given you any. Right now we have an option, Smart Life. Scan that code and you have Smart Life. You can get into action because we understand action changes things. There is a code, there is also a link happening on the different platforms. You just go in there and actually start commanding 5,000 to go and obey you. Thank you so much. If you are happy to wind up this conversation and then hand over. My last slide, if Shadrach is kind enough. What is it that as NSSF, the next one, yes, talent. So allow me to just introduce this, then give to the experts. Here we have experts and people with experiences. You will determine who is who in this when it comes to this field. But talent distances itself from people who have valued mouths. Like they can talk and talk, but have clean hands. Untalented people will talk, but they will not do anything. Clean hands, valued mouth. Talent distances itself from people who say things and do nothing. If you are to monetize your talent, if you are to speak about this, some of you need to start dropping off this conversation, because when you understand you're a person who says things and does nothing, drop off this conversation. Oh, stay on because you need to convert that. Talent is, they will distance itself from people who sell products. We have so many people selling products that even themselves cannot consume. They have not sold to themselves, but they are thinking they are going to sell to other persons. Talent will distance itself from you. People who demand huge salaries and deliver excuses. When it comes to the salary conversation, you are so vocal. When it comes to the performance conversation, you are wishing the conversation can be extended. If you can only have it next week, that is not talent. Talent, those who have skills in reasons, in justifications, but have no skill in results. This talent has distanced itself from you. For those, when there is no relationship between you and value, like we are talking about valuable people, about people of worth, and for you, your name is not coming up, just understand, talent has gone the other side, you have gone the other side, and you may never monetize that. But if you are to monetize talent, associate yourself with persons who, or if talent has been, is at a point where you have monetized it, these are a few warning signs. You will have conversations. Your children will have conversations. Your children will actually be proud of you. They will have conversations. When my father was this is what he used to do. Those conversations. Are you hearing your name in those conversations? If your own children are not talking about you, hey, now you know. Talent will associate with those people who, in the sentence they're always, in the meeting they're always saying, have you consulted with this person? Before you do this, have you consulted? The community is asking you, like they can only take what you're telling them until you tell them that I have consulted. That's what talent, or where talent will lead us. Talent will lead us to people. The people who are, when they come, the meeting starts. You are so valuable that the meeting can't start without you. But when you come, they say, people have come, let us start the meeting. The clan can start even bury arrangements because you have come. You are not the dead person, but they can't bury without you having arrived. That is what talent. how far talent can take you. It will associate itself with the people who say, let's wait and hear what he has to say before. When you hear that you are getting into that frame where people are saying, we cannot do this, I need to say this as a stand-up, we cannot do this until he has done this, your peers are proud of you, then, ladies and gentlemen, your talent is speaking for you. But who am I to say these things? Allow me to introduce the panel for today. Mine is to do the introduction, and it's the easiest job. But today we have a nice lady here, Claire Nakuti, right all the way from Mbale. She's the change manager at NSSF. Yeah, I don't know what she does. Don't ask me those things. But because we want to think that she is a talented, I don't know talented what. I'm finding time, but she will place that talent while she has this conversation. But we are privileged to have Claire Nakuti moderate this conversation with Ande Mwesigwa and Newton Buteraba. Those are people I cannot introduce myself. They will do the introductions themselves. But Claire, right now we have about 2,000 people waiting to hear what talent can do. For me, what I've been saying is just from my village. But what is it that talent can do in this realm of financial literacy? Over to you.
Thank you so much,
But
Apollo.
before you say no, now, before you go, the role here is Sir Headmaster. Sir, please say it again.
Apologies, sir, Headmaster, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Now
you
you.
so much for that introduction, and a good morning to our dear listeners. This is the NSSF webinar for the month of May, and I'm very happy to be co-hosting with Sir Headmaster, sir, and very brilliant gentlemen in the room with me, Newton Buteraba and Andrew Mwesigwa. Each very talented people, very skilled in their fields of work. So I'll just have a brief intro for Andrew Mwesigwa. He's a renowned footballer in the Ugandan community. I know if there are any sports fraternity teams that have logged in, I'm very sure you're very aware of him. Andrew, welcome back home. And we like the fact that you flew the Ugandan flag so high out there. He has played for very, very, very many international teams across the continent, please note. He's played for Villa FC, IBV. The one that was very fascinating for me is Chongqing Lifan. Like, he went all the way to Asia to play still.
China.
Saigon, to mention but a few. Yeah. And Andrew is, he played as defender in all his, in his field of sport, yeah, in the football field, and he's retired since. However, retirement doesn't mean that he sat down and left it to that. True. He has transitioned into something else, which is education right now, yeah, and that is very brilliant. I know he will speak more to it, but that's just a brief bio about Andrew Mwesigwa. Andrew, we're happy to host you, yeah, and we can't wait to have very brilliant information come out of you today. I know there's lots of people online waiting to hear, and I'm happy to delve in. Then here comes the CEO, House of Wealth, Newton Buteraba. Welcome, and thank you for honoring our invite here.
Thank you, Claire.
Yeah, so Newton is nicknamed as Professor. All of us who are in that field of financial literacy know him and his thirst of knowledge. He's well studied. He's done very many degrees across different fields. I don't know if that's skill, that's talent. We are going to wait to hear from you. He's done statistics, technology, security, and now embarking into law. Wow, Newton. Really a jack of so many hats, yeah? So we're happy to host you here, and we can't wait to hear from you. He's done a lot of financial literacy webinars, a lot of financial literacy conferences across the country, across the continent, across the region, and we can't wait to hear from him. So let's delve in. I know he'll speak more to that, but today we are speaking work to wealth, skills that pay the bills. And these are the gurus with me in the room, and we can't wait to hear from you. But before we start, Apollo mentioned something very important, and I hope that we would all just take a minute and you know, internalize it. What is wealth? Wealth is basically behavior, habits, and attitude. So I throw it back to Newton to start our conversation of the day. What does skills that pay the bills mean to you personally? Because we're here to learn today.
Thank you very much, Claire. I feel honored and utterly privileged to be in the same room with a a country great like Andy Mwesigwa
Andrew Mwesigwa.
for all the effort he put in sport.
Exactly.
And how it resonates with actually what we are discussing today, to let people know that they can do other things other than what they are currently doing. For example, when you say skills that pay the bills, work to wealth, we would like to let people know that, first of all, what is a skill?
Yeah.
We realize that you can be naturally gifted. There are people who are naturally gifted. When they are born, they do not have to go to school for that particular thing. Someone is born and is very good at running. Someone is born and is very good at singing. Someone is born and is very good at harmonizing. So that becomes a talent. However, we also have people who have said that I'm going to put in the time to learn speaking, to learn cooking, to learn how to play football, to learn how to decorate, to learn how to rear dogs. So we would like to tell people that whereas up until now, they could have failed maybe to discover their innate talent, something they were born to do. They can now choose a path where now they learn and they say, I want to do this. They go and pick knowledge. They go and pick skill. After attaining that skill, it will be extra. For example, you can be an accountant, but you go to a nutritionist and you learn how to organize meals that can help people cut weight.
Exactly.
You can be a lawyer, but then also you go and learn probably how to be an MC, and you actually speak on functions. These are things that will bring in money to your coffers every once in a while. So we want to encourage people not to depend on that very one thing they are doing currently.
The qualification.
That qualification.
Like
we want them to go elsewhere and pick on something which after some time, because usually skill just takes effort and time. You need the desire, you need the effort, you need the time. The moment you combine those, you will find yourself having multitudes of things. And to just add to that, Claire, I remember when I had just returned to this country from my studies, I was hired as an information systems and operations management system specialist. Yeah. So I entered Enterprise Uganda as IT. But while at Enterprise Uganda, I used to turn up in suits like I do. And then it meant that every function, I was always ready. Yeah. So I was their IT, but also their MC. Yeah. Then at Enterprise Uganda, they were always into training people how to make money. Yeah. I realized I had learned very many skills from my father's shop. So I started teaching people the skills I learned as a child, which I honed later. So I was into teaching people how to sell, teaching people how to manage businesses. So you realize one skill. There could be other skills which you go on a journey to learn.
So we're ideally transitioning out of qualifications into those skills that we probably are not paying attention to.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jutta, for spelling that out. Andrew, over to you. Our dear listeners want to know how you transitioned from active sports into what you're doing right now, which is education.
Yeah, thank you so much, Claire. Good morning to our viewers and listeners. I've already been introduced. Andy Mwesigwa. They normally tell me that I should always add the former captain of Uganda Cranes, because I was now a retired sportsman. Yeah, you've slightly gone through my profile. I started playing football as a young boy, but I would like to inform all the viewers and listeners that besides doing sports, I also went to school. Yeah, Ande Mwesigwa holds a diploma in business administration and management. Yeah, you've posed the question that how have I made it to transit from a sportsman to what I'm doing now as an educationist. Yeah, I'm a director of Amesco High School, a secondary school found in Wakiso district. Along Hoima Road, you branch off from Chikwampanga stage, then you get to Bugwanya village. I would like to inform all the viewers that I think it is because of my background, probably, that led me to smoothly transit from a sportsman to an educationist. Why? When I was born in Jinja, my parents treasured so much education. They used to insist that I should go to school, get the education, and actually it was my mother who could tell me that the time you'll finish education is when you'll be free to do what? To play football. You know, but you know, talent is talent. I kept on playing, you know, in all those hardships, being caned, not to get to the field and play, all in the name of doing what? Acquiring education. So I went ahead and completed my education, and I continued with the football. So I think I attribute that to that background, that as I was playing football, I knew that education is more valuable than what? Than sports. So actually when I turned professional, started earning, my desire was to start up a school, you know, get into education, because actually right now it is well known that I don't know how the government thought about it, to actually combine education and sports, you know, to be under one ministry. I think they knew that maybe talent without education is valueless, and the reverse is true. I'm here, and Mwesigwa, now an educationist who played football and a lot out of football, and decided to invest in education. Yeah, so it has been smooth for me because I think of the background that that I went to school, you know, and I treasured so much education, and my parents also treasured so much education.
Thank you for that. So sometimes where we come from also
matters.
pans out. It contributes to how we pan out, actually.
Sure.
Very brilliant. Newton, over to you. In the corporate world, we mostly earn money. It's rare that you would build wealth with your salary.
Yes.
And I've got to learn that from the different engagements we've been having, you know, with all these brilliant, wealthy giants in the country.
True.
I won't run out of our country, in the country. And the viewers would like to know what the difference is between merely earning money and building wealth. And I'm posing this to you because of your company, House of Wealth,
yes.
CEO. Yeah, so what better person to decipher this one?
Thank you very much, Claire. You've used a word that reminds me of security, to decipher. It means it's encrypted.
Yes.
Now we have to decrypt. That question is really brilliant because it's hidden. It's hidden in meaning. It's hidden in the things which bother us. They are conundrums that bother us every day. The question is, how would someone build wealth? Unfortunately, they never teach this to us in school. In school, they base most of the time in giving us the tricks on how to collect the notes and actually how eventually to pass the exam. Schools have gone ahead to even punish those who do not perform well on the exam by telling them to repeat the class or to change school. And society has gone ahead to reward those who have excelled in school by showing them on TV, by doing all these sorts of things. So when we leave school and we come into the world, we are as virgins as they all come. When we are unable to actually know what building wealth is, we actually carry a notion or a thought process that when you get the money, just make sure you ask your boss to increase the money. When you get the more money, you'll be wealthier. It's quite unfortunate. We would like to tell people here and now that it does not matter how much you get. The only thing that matters is what you do with what you get. And I'll repeat it. It doesn't matter how much you get. What matters is what you do with how much you get. And I want you to follow this. If we are all employed in the same company and someone earns 30 million, 40 million, 20 million, 10 million, notice that those people who earn 40, 30, 20, 15, by the time they tell them the job is no more, you could find they're distraught, they're under so much pressure. They can even tell you, I do not know what to do next, which will come as a shocker to you who has been earning 2 and 1.5. And you're like, but I thought at 40, at 20, you would have made it. And you see it in our day-to-day lives when, for example, no disrespect, but if you look at our parliamentarians, if they tell you how much they earn, you are like, I must be in parliament. But when the people who are in parliament tell you, we are planning to leave because we got the money, but we did not become wealthy. It's because when you get the money and you do not do something with it, this money is like water. It just flows. So I wanted to juxtapose that with a statement that a person who makes 40 million, which is 10,000 euros, and they do not do anything with the 40 million. They just turn up dressed well, smelling well, driving well, and happy with their family. But they do not do anything with the 40 million. And the person gets 3 million in that same company. But the person who gets 3 million keeps on putting aside 1 million with a goal to buying land every year. So they put aside 1 million. After a year, they have 12 million. They move 25 kilometers outside the city. They buy a plot. So it follows that after 10 years, the person who was earning 40 million, because they did not do anything with the money, this person who was earning 3 and doing something with the 1 million, saving with a goal, it follows that after 5 years, 10 years, they might actually have 6 to 7 plots. When the announcement comes that we are downsizing, we are chasing you from this work, this person who has been doing something with the money has 6 plots. The other person is like, I have now to write a new CV. So what people should actually start with is, what am I doing with what I'm making? Because let them not forget, expenses have a habit of rising to meet its best friend, income. So expenses look at the income and they're like, now the income is at 2 million. What are we guys doing at 500,000? They move. Before you know it, they are overexcited and they have even overtaken the income. So if you if you are not deliberate to do something about the income, you stay as you are.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We've seen that in our backgrounds and
It's
everything. We've seen
it-
that happen.
It's commonplace.
It's
Yes.
a very common place to find
Yes.
ourselves.
Yes.
And I like that. Use the little you have to build the little that you can build
Absolutely.
when you still can.
Yes.
That is something to ponder about, dear listeners. So, Andrew, over to you.
Yeah.
I want to talk talent and skill. Some of people out there have it innate, like I'm a natural athlete, footballer, musician, art and drama. It's innate, I have it in me.
Yeah.
But then we know that the shelf life is usually
Very
Short term.
limited,
minimal.
yes.
It's short, especially for people in active sports and people that sing. You know, the age does not align with your talent.
It's our biggest enemy.
Yeah, age doesn't align with your talent, or you've got an injury, so you can't play no more. The injury has, got you to a place that is not desirable.
Yeah.
So, how would you advise this segment of people? Now that you're experienced,
Yeah.
you've been through it, you know what it means, how would you advise them to use their time and money in a place where that they can find a cushion? Because it's sad to see someone who was up there
Yeah.
get on the street and they're nobody, and you can barely be recognized. And I want you to bring it back home. Unfortunately for us, it gets hard. Whereas the other players out there, I mean, they become coaches, they make their own academies. As in there's
They even become pundits on TV.
exactly.
Yes.
So there's something to look forward to, which is not the case with us here at home.
Yeah.
Yes, the NSSF has actually gone wide and wild to make sure they get into that sports fraternity. That when Andrew at a given point is injured and cannot play defense no more, or when Andrew is at that age where the team does not need him, what happens to him? How do you then survive? I know we have Smart Life that can accommodate the short term, but with your experience, what would you advise this segment of people? And how do you prep these young guys that are coming up, for that time?
Yeah. Thank you, Claire. I would like to immediately get back to my submission, the initial submission, that talent without education is valueless. My advice to all the little ones, I should call them little ones, or the youths.
Yeah.
Actually, sports is being done by youths. It is only maybe after active sports that you can get into, administration and so on. But with and actually that by that time you're not earning actually much. So I would say, as you're playing, you need to have the discipline, the financial discipline, knowing that sports is not done for a long time. Actually that is where we go wrong, thinking that we shall be maybe in active, sports forever. Yeah. So and this one goes back to what I said initially, that we need to have these youths going through education. All the levels. It is very important because education is a lifetime. But with the talent or sports is limited for some time. So if you have the education with you, you can again venture into, actually you can even use the sport itself to actually earn a living after active sports. Yeah, to the little ones, I would say, actually this shall go to the administration. There is a very big tendency of actually now schools having the so-called footballers in schools.
Yeah, I've seen high schools do it.
Yes.
Chitende.
I have not mentioned about any school.
No, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
It's a
but
good thing to have.
they always don't allow them to get to classes and get the the knowledge.
The knowledge.
Yeah, so it is a problem that after actively playing football, somebody is in the dark, not knowing what to do thereafter. I'll pick a leaf from those countries. I was in Iceland.
Yeah.
I would like to tell you that all the footballers in the national team of Iceland, the time I was there, they all had their other professions. You know, we had, they had doctors, they had teachers, they had veterinary officers, you know, in the team, you know. So it helped them that actually, after active football, like now, the coach of Ireland national team was my coach in IBV and was the coach of Iceland national team. This is a gentleman now who is a dentist, you know, and he owns a hospital in what? In Iceland. But he's a coach and he played football. So it is very important to always go through school. Very, very important that when you get injured, when things don't actually, we even have the form. When the form declines, you know, you get stuck and, you know, there is nothing to do thereafter. But if you have the education, you have your other profession, you can as well branch off and do whatever you pursued thereafter. So my advice is that we should keep these children in school, the youths in school, as they are doing their sport activities. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's very important. And when you mention that schools may not, okay, the youth right now, or this age group that is very talented in schools, and schools are very competitive when it gets to sports. I see all these very amazing leagues happening all over the country, inter-school leagues.
Yes, yes.
And it's now a catch in our society right now, the inter-school, the big schools that have really taken this to another level.
True.
And probably they want their students to focus more on that. I don't know how it impacts the school. Maybe it's visibility for the school and whatnot. Yeah. But like you said, education is very important at the end of the day. We have to balance.
Yeah, because actually, once you turn a pro footballer, like when I went to Iceland in 2006, it happened that the little I got from school helped me a lot. Why? When signing contracts, you need to have the financial literacy.
True.
Very
okay?
true.
Signing a contract, what are you signing really?
Yes.
You know, the wages and so on, you know, you need to know what you're signing.
Oh, yeah.
You need to know that
At
out
least
of this
some
money.
little negotiation.
Exactly. And even knowing that, okay, as I'm earning this, I have to get this deducted as tax. You need to know all that. For somebody who didn't go to school, it becomes so hard.
Oh.
Then the talent becomes valueless without education.
Very.
Yeah, so my advice is that we should keep these children, these youths, I call them children, but they're youths, in school as they're doing what? As they're playing football, because it will help them in future to actually make it valuable when they earn whatever they earn in that short time, to actually do the needful thereafter using the funds.
Very important to note. Yeah. And Newton, I always talk to my colleagues, my friends, and the people that I really hang with, that you can't really be the best kept secret wherever you are. You know, I may be talented in a certain field, in a different field, but it's only known to me. Like I'm the best kept secret at that point in time. And yet it's not worthwhile. Like if you can MC, you can co-host, you can, you know, crack code. You're working in probably customer experience, but you can crack code in tests. You've not yet gotten the opportunity to go to technology, but where you're seated, you can actually crack code. So what am I saying? How important is networking? We are not taught these things, but these are things we have to know. How important is networking and visibility when monetizing your skill?
I would like to thank you, Claire, for that question. And I would like, even before answering it, to bring it in context. You remember there is a verse in the Bible, I think it's in 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 18. Elijah was telling God that I am the only one left. And God told him, I still have 7,000. It is actually so important that we get to know that it is impossible that you might be the one and only. By design and creation, they made sure we are all unique. But again, the Creator intended that our whole entire lifetime and lifespan to earn from our gifts, we must work with people. Take, for instance, how would this show have been if you weren't a moderator, he wasn't a co-panelist. We didn't have this whole entire very great team, which is on the sound, camera, videography, cinematography, then NSSF, and all, and the viewers themselves. Imagine we set it up, we put it out there, and then there are no viewers.
Yeah.
You realize that the moment we advertise and people we grab their attention, and then they come, they form part of our network.
Yes.
Now it is up to us. A network must be studied. When you study a network, you become wealthy. I'm usually on TV telling people that we also need to know who is teaching us about money.
Yeah.
Very many people who are teaching about, who are skilling, who are giving people knowledge about money, they are saying, if you pick your phone and you do not see people who are giving you, when you call that person, they can't give you 10 million, they can't give you 5 million, they can't get you out of trouble. Delete them. And I'm of the view that that is their opinion, but as Newton Buteraba, I wouldn't buy it. Everyone is in that phone for a reason. And you will have to go up to Genesis chapter 41. You start from 14 to 46. Who are we talking about? Joseph. What had Joseph done? He had met trouble with Potiphar's wife. And the wife had made sure the guy gets to prison. So he's imprisoned because they thought he had an affair with his boss's wife. When they put him in prison, he finds the king's cupbearer. He converses with him and he tells him about a dream. So that guy whom he was with in prison gets to know that Joseph can interpret dreams. When he is released from prison, that cupbearer is serving with the king. The Pharaoh is troubled. He does not know. He has these dangerous dreams. And this guy tells him, you know what? I was in prison with a young chap who can interpret dreams. Pharaoh orders that the prisoner is released to come and interpret dreams. He comes, he interprets dreams that there is going to be famine in Egypt. Keep this corn, do this, spend like this, budget like this to protect the people. Now, that verse answers the question, what can we do with networks? Imagine we were of the view that the people you find in prison have no use. After all, we were together in prison. He was a murderer, this one was a thief, this one was there because of adultery. Let me delete. He would have lost on the network because the person who is getting him out of prison, he is the person he had networked with. That's why I'm telling people that for me, I realized that the life God has given me on this planet, I now value networks more than even the degree.
Your network is your network.
Exactly. But you must be able to nurture the network. You can be online. For example, if I'm on a network, like maybe a network carrier like MTN or Airtel, if you have the line, which is the network line, but you do not have airtime, you won't be able to make calls. So you realize that even the people whom you're networking with, you must make sure that in a way you nurture them. So you can call friends and improve their lives, not monetary all the time. Calling someone just to say hello, calling someone to tell them what they are going through, you also went through it and you passed through it. You're nurturing the network. That way, you will find that every time something happens, there is a call, and that call involves you. I usually tell people, we are here. But there are people in a certain boardroom or meeting who are making decisions
About you.
about you. The
Yeah.
question is, on that committee, who knows you?
Yes.
What do they remember about you? So it is so important that we brand ourselves with a character befitting of a recommendation. Because if you do not have credibility, they do not know you, someone then must know you. But that person who knows you, who is already credible, must recommend to the extent that they know that this person is full of integrity. In information security, we study integrity. And we say, esse quam videri. That is Latin
Yeah.
for to be rather than to seem. If I'm recommending Claire, if I'm recommending Andy, I must be comfortable that the Claire I know
Yeah.
will be the Claire I recommend.
Yes.
The moment the Claire I know has some other ways, the Andy I know has some other ways, they lack that integrity, I won't recommend them. That is in Mark 11:12, where Jesus is hungry, he finds a tree full of leaves, and is like, this tree will give me a fig. Such as the tree can't find a fig. He's disappointed. So the tree was seemingly figgy, but it lacked figs. That's where we get that that motto of esse quam videri, to be rather than to seem. Let people know you're kind.
Yeah.
Let people don't be like, but he seems kind. He seems intelligent. He seems wealthy. No, 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 no. Let you be rather than seem. So it will help people live within their means. It will help people portray the picture that will help them nurture and benefit from networks.
So be very, very intentional
True.
in keeping
Exactly.
and growing your networks.
Absolutely.
And make it worthwhile. Be the person that
Be.
they know that you
Just
are.
be, yeah.
Don't seem to be.
Exactly. Let them know. Let them know
Yeah.
he snaps.
Yes.
Let them not doubt. But will he? Will he?
Yeah.
The people who have hired me to be a speaker, they know
He will deliver.
he
the
will
job.
say everything, but he won't be obscene.
Yeah. True.
But there are people they are hiring to be an MC, and they're like, ha! He will throw a word, and they take their reservations.
Yeah.
All the time, the person who hired you is monitoring you, and also looking at the DJ to tell them, take the mic off, take the mic off, take the mic off. So I really think that it's so important that people grow into that character, because your network, before it becomes your net worth, they are speaking about you, they are recommending you, they are saying things about you.
There were bank tables behind closed doors. in those
Exactly.
boardrooms.
So in that meeting where they are going to speak about you,
Yes.
are there any 2 or 3 things they remember about you being very good at, being that they can trust you when you handle?
Yeah.
That's my view.
And that delves in right into what I want to ask Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andrew has played football as defense in so many teams
True.
across the continent,
Yes.
across the globe,
Yeah.
not just in Africa, but Asia and
In Europe.
Europe. And that's very brilliant. 1, your skill. 2,
The network.
your network.
Yes.
And of course, we are very aware that talented people, sports people, are paid very well,
True.
depending on the team you're playing for and the level of skill you bring to the table. But then there's also one problem: managing or making financial mistakes while you're there. We've seen it on the news where they go bankrupt. I mean, they're filing tax cases on them. I don't know. They may not have good managers, but, well, like you said, an education is very paramount to have.
True.
Even when you're a sports person, you're in arts, you're in that different field, music, name it. So, Andrew, have you made financial mistakes before? And how did you bounce out of them? these are things that happen in the different fields that we work in.
True.
Especially in your fields, like of talent. Have you made those mistakes before? Did you get swayed by the money?
Yeah, of course, but probably maybe, you know, talent these days is very commercial.
Exactly.
Yeah, and once you become a professional footballer, that means you're going to be earning. But initially when I was in Uganda, because I played for several clubs here in Uganda, and to be honest with you, there wasn't that big money as people thought. It was just fame, you know, just being known. And Mwesigwa, captain of Uganda Cranes, then playing Sekafa and so on, captain of Sports Club Villa, captain of Mbale Heroes, you know, but in the actual sense, we're not earning that much. And by the way, it is where actually the public gets it wrong with the previous soccer players. To be honest with you, they never got any money. Yeah, but they had the fame. So people thought with the fame, they're having what? They're having money. But to be honest with you, they never earned money. I give an example of myself. While in Uganda here, when I left in 2006, the only thing I had with me was just the sofas in my house, the bed, okay, and the fridge. Imagine, but I'd played for over 6 years in the Super Division League. It is until when I went pro, you know, outside of Uganda, I went to Iceland, then I started earning some good money. Went to China, earned really big. Went to Kazakhstan, big. Then Cyprus and Vietnam. When I was retiring, it was not that much. But I would say, while in Uganda, I never earned, I never made any financial mistakes, you know, because I didn't have anything to invest in anyway, you know. So that way, I would say, but I will talk about now when I turned professional.
Yes.
To be honest with you, I'm one person who does not party. I'm not a luxurious person. And to be honest with you, I think I've never made a mistake in my finances. Only that, you know, they are inevitables. Like when I just come back to Uganda, opened up a school, and I went into a lockdown. You know, so business was somehow affected. As you know, education took like 2 years without operating. And I don't think it was my mistake, you know, but we were so much affected, and right now we are just getting back into business. And everybody should, people in education now can witness, it is now that the education sector is getting back to normal, you know, but previously things were terrible. Many schools closed, you know, actually not even schools, but even many other businesses closed because of the pandemic. So I would say maybe it wasn't my mistake, but it was a general thing that, you know, things went bad with the pandemic. That is what I can say. But I invested very well, you know, because of the knowledge that I gotten from school and my background as well, that my parents treasured and loved so much education. And I got in the interest as well as a young child that maybe I can as well become an educationist. And actually it was my prayer. By the way, I don't know, we have Skype. Do people use these days Skype?
It's obsolete now.
Not so much.
No, like I think they stopped Skype.
Yes,
they must have
but I would like to tell you that I had a vision right when I was still young. When I was processing to go turn professional, we were using Skype, actually communicating and so on. My Skype profile picture was the plan for my school now, where I'm a director.
Oh.
That is, I think, 20 years ago.
That's long-term planning.
Yeah, true. So I had a plan with me, for sure. True. Yes, that's so I had a plan with me, and I was like, if God allows and I get money, I will build a school. You know, and it is exactly what I did after turning professional. When I got in the money, I bought the land and said I have to build a school, and it is what I did. So to me, actually, out of whatever I've done, whatever I've earned, I don't think I've made a mistake, but it is at some point nature, yeah, that you know, led us to somehow be get a slide. Yes, yeah. So my advice as well to the little ones to actually, after earning whatever they earn as sportsmen, because it is an activity that you do for a small time, is to invest wise. Yeah.
Very brilliant. And I like the fact that you are deliberate on not making financial mistakes.
True.
You're one of a kind, I must say. In our fields where we are, we're making a couple of financial mistakes.
Absolutely.
You make them, you learn, you get back on track. Fair and square.
Yeah.
But then, would you point someone to the exact investments they would take? Because I know that there are very many. Lately, we are all deliberate on our finances and you know, trying to make good, trying to do it right the very first time. Chances of doing that the very first time, highly unlikely, but of course it happens for some people. Like you, who have not made any financial mistakes, except for COVID that came and knocked everyone down to the ground. Okay, at least most people, well, we're learning to, you know, coexist with the pandemic. What exact investments would you point someone in your field?
Okay, so now as you're actively doing sports, you so much concentrate on doing what? On that talent, you know, training. You don't have time to maybe move out and so on, venture into other what? But I would say real estate. Real estate is the way to go for any active sportsman. Because as you're doing the sport, you're busy, you don't have time.
Yep.
You know, so if you invest in real estate, buy land, you know, buy those properties, to me, I think you can keep your wealth there. And maybe after retirement, you can come out and maybe say you sell one, develop one, you know, and you know, you let life go on. So real estate is a very big deal for any sportsman, and I would recommend that.
Okay, I believe they're all hearing and you know, trying
because
to
as time
about
goes
it.
by, you know, it adds value, you know, like that. Than you know, investing probably. If you are to invest in maybe a retail shop, you know, you're not there to monitor. You know how much you've, how much they've, you know, they've stocked, how much they've sold, the profits and so on, tax and so on. You know, so the monitoring becomes so hard. You know, the fact that you're busy with the sports. But if you invest maybe in real estate, you buy land, put it there, buy a building, put it there. You know, the value is automatic. Somebody can come and, you know, make valuation. After a few years, you know, the value has risen, you know, be it land, be it property.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. So
That's
that
amazing.
is what I can advise, that sportsmen and any other busy person should invest in what? In real estate.
Newton, is that what you call patient capital?
Absolutely. And
That's what you call patient capital, right?
yes, and I like what Andy has said.
Yeah.
Because real estate, by its design, it was designed to help us keep money. When you are a football player, when you're a talented, when you're a skilled individual, be it a boxer, be it a footballer, there is a time when you hit the peak and everyone wants you. Everyone wants to sign you. They throw a lot of money to you. Now, notice that the people who are abroad, if you studied them, they are losing money in 3 ways. They either take you to court, which is a lawsuit, or there is divorce, which is a separation that will take the money, or there is taxes.
Insane.
Now, notice that all these things end up in court. I think that's why I went back to do law. And I usually tell people, when I find someone who says they have money, I ask them, who is your lawyer? The moment I realize they do not have a lawyer, I realize they are in the game. but they lack someone to interpret them, the game rules. And I want to just add on to what Andy has said. If you followed sport or all the talented individuals, let's look at a guy like Tyson. In his career, he was a boxer and he amassed $400 million US.
Per fight.
Not per fight, but what he could
Yeah.
he could earn 20, he could earn 30. But when you combine, he at one moment he was worth $400 million US. But then it reached a time when he was bankrupt. You move to football and you go and you find Ronaldinho. At one moment he had $100 million US. But there was a time he had problems and they went, looked for him, no asset. Looked on his bank account and they found €6. Maradona, greatest player, great skill, but by, I think, 2003, he was owing the taxman in Italy approximately €37 million. Now you realize that if you have a skill, if you're earning money, the next thing is to ask yourself, this money is going to go. Because money is like water. It's in the business of flowing. If you do not get, you've been at a place where they tell you it overrained last night. You wake up, you have no gutters, you have no tank, you have no water. But there are people who have gutters, they have a tank, they have buckets, they harvested, they call it water harvesting, they have water. So the idea would be, now what are we going to do? We know that in a country like Uganda, when it rains, it might not warn us. You are enjoying your sleep, finishing your sleep. In the sleep, you might even be a veteran, dreaming as a veteran. They have called veterans to earn some money.
And you're there.
You're there. Then it rains heavily. If you did not set up, remember when you're setting up to harvest water, you only set up during the sun.
Yeah. Rain,
So the question now would be, what are you doing before it rains?
yeah.
That protection unit.
Exactly. What are you doing before the money comes? Can you even plan about land? Don't wait for money to come, then you buy the land. Can you think about the land tenures in this country? We have customary, we have freehold, we have private milo, we have leasehold. People just think, when I get money, I'll buy the land. That's why they end up buying vibanja when they should have bought private mile. That's when they end up buying leasehold when the lease is even about to expire. But they did not take the trouble to acquaint self with the knowledge about these things they want to go in.
Anticipate to invest.
If you read Proverbs 6:6 and you read it together with Proverbs 30:25, Solomon was intent when he said that I have seen the wise, but the wisest among the wise, he looked at ants.
Yeah.
And the reasoning was simple.
The foundation.
Ants prepare food for the winter. When do they prepare food for the winter? During the summer. So we are asking people, what are you doing now before the chaos comes? What are you doing with the money before the chaos comes? What are you even doing before even the money comes? Everything I do, the people who follow me on my status know that I manifest. I meditate. I think about this. I can talk about something and I follow through it. I told people I will do law. It's on record. I told them in 2018. The war that was there for me to do law, chaotic. But by the war started in 2018, and by 2020, even COVID was involved. But by 2020, I was starting law. To the extent that the war we fought, the program had even been scrapped. We had to involve lawyers to threaten the whole entire university, such that they give us our program. What do I want to tell people? That if you read John 12:24, They are saying, Jesus is saying in John chapter 12, verse 24, that unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground, it stays alone.
Yeah.
But the moment it goes to the ground, then it will produce.
To multiply.
So it means the actual road we want to take before we make it. So we shall make the mistakes. But they have told us that unless the seed dies, actually, if you read about germination, the thing must rot. You put a bean seed under the ground, the food it only has is in the cotyledons. So seed must now make energy, not from the cotyledon, but from the sunlight. So it must send a pull mule through the soil such that it makes now energy via photosynthesis. But what will it do with the water? It will have to send a radical down to look for the water. That whole entire process is a fight.
Yes.
But the success that comes, the opportunities are immense. Can you believe we do not have a single restaurant to profile a typical Ugandan? When you look at what we call a typical Ugandan, you ask yourself, number one, how do they move? A typical Ugandan, whether they have a car or not, they will use a boda boda. Whether they have a car or not, they will use a boda boda. So, because by our innate way of life, we are mobile.
Yeah.
We have to move from place A to place B. For example, we came to Luboa, but we won't sleep in Luboa. We will have to go out. Now, the idea is that whole entire network of how Ugandans move is full of business opportunities. Either you will buy and sell bikes, or you buy and sell fuel for bikes, or you buy and sell spare for bikes, or you can do something. But just know every Ugandan is moving, and whether they have a car or not, they will use a bike. You look at a typical Ugandan and you ask yourself, how does a typical Ugandan spend their social life? You realize a typical Ugandan is a party master. A typical Ugandan will either celebrate a birthday, a baby shower, a graduation, a wedding, anniversary, a burial. So you ask yourself, if a typical Ugandan is a party master, how do I position myself? And I've realized that when you look at parties alone, the whole entire value chain for parties has numerous businesses. The people who are making cakes will earn money in this country because Ugandans will always celebrate. For us at LDC, we buy cake for every birthday. So our farm has 32 people. Everyone must eat cake. Now LDC has like 20 farms in Kampala alone, and they have the same habit. So if you're into cake, if you're into photography, if you're into videography, if you're into hairdressing, if you're into beverages, if you're into gift shops, if you're into event planning, if you're into decoration, even when you realize that you have land you're not using, but around you there are bars, there are what? Go talk to the barman and say, this place can be your parking lot. There is a lot of money you will earn. You just say, every car that parks here, 5,000. The bar only has the bar setting, but they lack parking. So they will come and park. If 20 cars park and each car has paid 5,000, that's 100,000 a night. The land doesn't decrease, it doesn't increase, it doesn't rot. It gave you 100,000 in one night. And you will find that now, the whole entire time you've been earning, that money from parking can even pay fees. Talking about fees, you look at a typical Ugandan. A typical Ugandan is not in the business of giving birth to one kid. Typical Ugandan won't even give birth to 2 kids. They won't even give birth to 3 or 4. If they gave birth to 3, they will call other people's kids to be with them, their relatives and all that. Now you ask yourself, how do you tap into the kids' business?
Boutique.
You see, you can dress up the kids, you can feed the kids, you can stay with the kids. If you actually said, this is my house and my garage is the daycare, what do you actually need? The parents will come with the pampers, with the milk, with everything. All you need is to stay with them. So I realized that there are numerous opportunities in this country alone, numerous opportunities which you can harness.
So the ecosystem is actually larger.
Absolutely. And
it
because
fits into each other.
Exactly. And I realized that people they just need to think, when there is something you're doing at your workplace, but you're like, how do I also tap into the national cake?
Okay, so that brings me to this. We have someone who has asked Amoza online.
Yes.
And they say, but there was a very famous tweet going around about what they don't tell us between the age of 30 and 40. When the black child tax checks in. So that she says, how do you curb black tax to save something for investment, especially where families see us in corporate world, see us who are in corporate world as rich. And this is something that so many people in the corporate world are struggling with. You've got a job in MTN, Airtel, you're working for this ministry or that, and the family thinks, oh, lo and behold, the bank account is the family bank account is here, and yet it's pressing on you. And I don't know if you read that tweet, but it really sunk for everyone who is within that age bracket and is from a typical African family. And this question is to both you, Newton, and Andrew. But Andrew can first give us his opinion. Okay. And then Newton will fall in.
Yeah, actually, you've talked about the corporate world, where I'm not.
Yeah, but the black child tax, I don't know if you have an idea.
To me, I think the perception is wrong, because you actually don't know what that person is earning. So to be there anticipating that this person is earning, that much, and you expect a lot from him or her, I think it is wrong. Yeah, because we really don't actually how much that person may be earning, his or her expenses actually, so it is a poor perception that we should just change. If somebody makes it to maybe such levels and maybe earning, to me, I think we should just support and pray for that person to continue earning, and maybe if he saves something, we can as well do what? Throw back to the family.
Yeah, and just to say, these are things that you're not prepared for, to be honest. But you just find yourself taking on the mantle in in 4 out of 5 families in Africa, like you just find yourself taking on a mantle, and and
but again,
says, live within your means and take on whatever you can. Probably declare that, guys, I'm not earning as much as you envision I'm earning.
Yes.
Newton, what do you have to say about this black child? This black tax?
You see, it's coming from a premise. As Christians, we've actually been called to look after family. I think it's in 1 Timothy 5:8, where they say those who do not actually look after their families are worse than non-believers. However, the same Bible has called us to be diligent, to be able to balance.
Yeah.
Now, usually the question is, if you have relatives and they keep suggesting that you're the one to handle financial related distress, it's a couple of things. Probably, perhaps, you've shown them that you have the money. Otherwise, they are not making any call to people who are not showing that they have the money. So this thing people do, you see in Uganda, if you're into the business of cars, cars are bought a lot in December, November, December.
Festive.
Exactly. Then cars are sold a lot in Jan and Feb. Do you know why? Because no one wants to go to the village in a bus. They would rather get that car, drive that car, such that they show the people in the village that actually, if it's unbeknownst to you, we made it. So they see the car, it is big. They see your wife, very nice hair. They see your kids, chubby, all good looking. You've put up a show. If you have put up a show that you have the money, then it goes to Galatians 6:7. God can't be fooled. What you sow, you
what
will
you
reap.
Yeah.
You've put up a show that you have money. They will call you.
Demanding for the money.
Let's go to neuroscience. How does the brain work?
Yeah.
The brain has been designed to solve problems. How does the brain solve problems? When I have a problem of fees, I will call Claire. Claire, mpaya atano. Help me with how much? 500. Claire says, I don't have. Andy, help me with 600. Andy says, I do not have. I call Peter. Peter, help me with 500. Peter helps me. Now the brain registers. It puts a cross on Claire because he didn't help.
And Andy?
I put a cross on Andy, he didn't help.
They
I put a tick on Peter.
Yeah.
Next time I have a problem, the brain will put Peter first in the calls because he is the one with the tick in the past. So when I call Peter and he gives me that money again, I add another tick. I call Claire. Claire does not help me. I put a cross. I call Andy. Andy doesn't help me. I put a cross. Now, in the future, the brain removes you and him from the register. They are not interested in actually giving a reason why wagwam. They just say Claire, yagwam. So, you need to be aware that the responsibility of staying with the money lies on you. And there is a quote, I think I even put it on X. I said, it is you as the giver to control. For the takers have no limit.
Yeah.
Everyone's problems are huge. All our friends, they will have fees problems, rent problems, food problems, clothing problems. There are people who even have a problem of going on holiday. They want to go on holiday. But who will fund it? They will call you to fund it. So the idea is, number one, we have always asked people, learn to say no.
Yeah.
But the no is usually not outright. You could say no the wealthy way. How? Someone can ask you for 500,000. If you give them 100,000, you've actually said yes and no. The yes is to the 100, the 400 is a no. So they asked you for how much? 500. You have given 100. So you've said yes. But you've also said no.
Rejected the 400.
That's how the wealthy work. You can never land on any wealthy individual who has the money ready there.
Yeah.
The wealthy individuals have projects. They want to raise their construction projects. They want to grow. So they always have a budget on how to spend.
Yeah.
So we tell people, giving our family members, it's actually the greatest thing.
Yes.
But you need to ask yourself, do you have what you're giving? Or you're going to borrow such that you give? You are better off actually not going to loans to give. You are better off first putting yourself in a position to give. Why is it that all the wealthy people, they finish with a charity?
Yeah.
No wealthy individual starts
That's
with a charity.
Mm.
Andrew Carnegie makes a lot of money, then finishes with a charity. John D. Rockefeller, a lot of money, finishes with a charity. Bill Gates, a lot of money, then finishes with a charity. Why is it that for us who do not have, we want to start with a charity? No registration of NGO. We don't want to register the NGO. We have no license to operate as a charity. But we start as a charity. Then we pursue wealth. I think it's a way of changing these things. And I usually tell people, you do not lose anything when you live within your means. It's actually a trick you must live through. When you lend someone money and they do not pay, you write somewhere and you say, I gave Claire 1 million. Claire struggled to pay the 1 million. She actually only paid 150. So going forward, Claire's credit limit is 100,000. That's how people who understand money live with people to value the car. They will return the car when they know it has a problem,
Yeah.
but then they will wait for you to figure it out. But when you figure it out, maybe they open the boot and you see what has been done to the car. For some reason, you will now hold that person in a different regard. So to protect the friendship, in Uganda we have a saying, echito mukwano, wola na kwazika. To lend and as in be prepared to kill the friendship when you lend and maybe lease. So to protect the friendship, you are better off talking to this person and say, you wanted 200,000, but actually I'm also struggling, but have this 50. At least start from there.
It's a good start.
It's a good start.
Yeah.
So that way, you will be able, when people call you for that black tax thing, they will say the problem is fees. You ask how much is fees. They will tell you fees is 1 million. Other than, because when you take them into a lecture, but can you afford that school? They will say, now you look at this person, then asking me whether I can afford the school or this. You can say, let me buy some of the needs. Maybe you buy the books, or you buy the pens, or you pay for the uniform, or you pay something. You pay something. But when you come out outrightly, and you pay the other people's fees, before you even look after yourself, or you look after your home, you're going to land into 1 Timothy 5:8, where you in your homestead, household, you won't even have food. So we need to live a balanced life. We help, but the help is directed or guided from our means.
Yeah.
So in other words,
Yes.
this tendency of people calling some wealthy people mean,
Yeah.
is
No,
it okay?
That will happen.
actually,
That will
usually the question is,
Yeah.
no wealthy individual ever died. I've never attended any burial
Yeah.
where the cause of death was someone being mean. So the wealthy don't fear to be called mean. But actually they're not even being mean. They are trying to live within their means. Because they woke up, planned for the money.
Exactly.
So today they will help, tomorrow they might not help. There is no law that they might. I've read very many laws in all my law career, but I see no law that you
That
must
you have to
help by
always help.
force.
So ideally,
It's a deliberate
as a
effort.
giver,
Yes.
you must take the controls.
True.
Because
Exactly.
the takers have no limit.
Yes.
And I hope that Amuza has noted this. Takers have no limit.
They have no limit.
But as
Just
a
take your
giver, you
kid.
have
Just
to have
if you want to know
control.
that the takers have no limit,
Yeah.
enter with your kid in a supermarket.
Such a take.
See how they pick. They will pick ice cream, pick sweet, pick biscuit, pick. They have no limit.
Actually, they
Until
own
you tell them
everything in
you
the
can't take
supermarket.
you can't take this, you can't. So it's you, the giver, who should have a limit. The takers have no limit.
Yeah, so that's quite interesting. And coming back to the corporate world, where we have to negotiate for our pay, I don't know if, and I'm sure also people in the sports fraternity negotiate for pay,
Exactly.
like in that field of sports, art, drama.
As you're
all that
making
part.
contracts.
Yes, you have to negotiate for pay, but negotiating for pay is one of the most difficult things to do. One, you have to be confident. You have to know your worth. You know, like what exactly we're talking about. You have to know your worth, and you have to know that at least this is what I should be able to take out of this place for the value that I'm going to offer, for the team that I'm going to play for what they are going to earn from me, you know. And
Actually, with us footballers, it depends on your CV as well.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so when your CV is big, then your value also is very big.
Yeah. So how would you hone confidence as a skill, especially when negotiating for your worth? In sports, and Newton, you're also going to talk about in the corporate world. Yeah. And okay, men may have it easy, and I'm sorry for being gender biased at this point in time. Men may have it easy, they always have it easy at that point in time, but women struggle to negotiate, they struggle to, they take what they're given.
Yes.
Especially in the corporate world. A man would throw back the contract and say, no.
I'm not
guys,
taking this.
I am not taking this.
Yes.
You get it? So how do you hone that skill? Someone asked.
Yeah,
How do you hone that skill?
Yeah, for us, by the way, before turning pro, that means you're not earning.
Pro to mean professional.
Yes, you're not earning. Then you don't have value. But to reach pro level, you need to work so hard. You know, that is why I've said you're making your CV.
Yeah.
You know, like you start playing maybe in a local club, you know, where there is no much pay, you know, but you work so hard, you know, make a CV. If you're a defender, defend very well, you know, put the plus. Maybe if you're a defender and you're scoring goals, you know, stuff. If you're a striker and you're scoring goals and helping clubs probably maybe win some trophies and so on, then you're building a CV. That means your value also does what? Does right. So when you get to pro level, then you have, you know, that weight in negotiating. And also, it also depends on the managers that you have. If your manager is a strong manager, then you'll get a very good contract. You know, and this comes out after him probably, you know, assessing that, you know, you're a very good player, you have all the potential, you know. If he's to negotiate for you, like for me, actually, to be honest with you, I think I've been one of the most expensive defenders Uganda has produced.
Wow.
I've signed very many contracts, which have been good. But the fact was that I was a defender playing for a national team and having a plus of scoring, you know, because it is very rare for defenders to score goals. But I've always been scoring goals, you know. Nice. So that has always added value.
Gave you an upper edge.
Exactly. And I've been getting very good contracts just because of that added value, that I'm a defender and, you know, I do score goals.
So ideally, let your work speak for you.
Exactly.
Let your CV speak for you.
True.
Newton.
Thank you very much, Andy. And that's why I was telling you that for me, I felt already privileged. And from here, I'll make sure the network with Andy is even nurtured. To add to what he has mentioned, I had a full show on national TV. And I was telling, the show was called Abachala Nesente, Women and Money. And I was telling people that women need to pick a lot of interest in the show because for time immemorial, women have been paid less. Number two, women, for example, in the workplace, they are the only ones who will be deterred with a pregnancy.
Yeah.
When a pregnancy comes, very many women have to kill a full 2 years because of the pregnancy. It distorts how they would balance work and earning money. So it is so, and also the third reason, I mentioned that they are being paid less on average. They are the ones disturbed with the pregnancy. But also I remember adding that the life expectancy favors women.
Yes.
So they live longer. Now imagine living longer when you've been earning less. But there is a remedy. Number one, in families, if you're a mother, make sure you do not have that these are things for boys, these are things for girls. When in the earlier times, men were the real hunters. So what is in hunting? There are fights, there are deaths, there are struggles. And women were nurtured to be the calmer one, the humble one, and all that. But now society has opened up. You wake up and they tell you you will be the CEO and you're Miss so-and-so. If you're not tough, people will walk over you. If you're not hard, you know how the corporate world is. But usually what I tell people that the actual remedy, the confidence you will need, if you read Proverbs 18, verse 16. When you read Proverbs 18, verse 16, and you read it together with Proverbs 22, verse 29. Proverbs 18, verse 16 says, the gifts will open the doors. Proverbs 22, 29 says, do you see a person skilled at their work? They will serve kings. How does it work? That if you are a lady and they tell you you are in a work environment, you're working with men, male-dominated, patriarchal environment, it means if a man is putting in 1 hour, as a lady you put in 3. Such that you hone the skill to the extent that you can't be negotiating money. They will just sit somewhere and they say, tugenda chiwa mukazi, tetuina cha kukola, na yeye asinga. That is what you should take. You have to be too good. There is no excuse. And I picked this from, I think I picked it from a black actor. A black actor was saying that Hollywood favors whites. So if you know that Hollywood favors whites and you're a black actor, then it means you come when you're like a Swiss knife. A Swiss knife has a nail cutter, has an opener, has a scroller, has a what, has a filer. You must come. That's why you
Fully
see,
equipped.
yeah, that's why you see when you find black actors, they can sing, they can dance, they can act, they can speak, they come when they are really too good. So when you are a lady in the workplace, if you can't be too good, ask someone who is too good to help you on the journey of being too good.
Yeah.
But then also, people negotiate poorly. You can't be in a negotiation and you're telling people the money is low. The moment you're talking about the money is low, you're losing. You must change the conversation from the money is low to, but I'm bringing this amount on table. That's why I tell people when you enter an organization, you have no business sitting on your desk. Go to accounts. What are they spending? What is that particular organization spending money on the most? What can you conjure up as an idea that will save the money? Remember, all businesses, whether in Juba, whether in Israel, Vietnam, or Saudi Arabia, they will all have a profit and loss.
Yeah.
That profit and loss statement, at the end, the very bottom line, we see whether net profit or net loss.
Yeah.
That net profit or net loss is dependent on the operational costs. No one will increase the salary where utilities are taking them by the neck, where all these other expenses. So when you come to negotiate salary, you can't be talking about, but now I'm being paid low. You have to say, before I was employed, this organization was bringing in sales of 10 million. I'm on this job, I'm bringing in sales of 40 million. The way I'm being remunerated, it's not commensurate to what I brought on table. You're not talking about money, you're talking about your value. I've also been discussing with these departments and these departments. I realized this organization would actually save money there, which we would earn as an increment. Hey, now they say, hey, so we can give out. That is the way. But also, be self-aware. If you are not good at speaking, find someone who is good at speaking. Hone the skill. You see, we are talking about skills that pay the bills.
Yeah.
And one of the skills that pays the bills most is speaking.
Negotiation.
You will negotiate. Can you imagine that even in marriage, people who realize that speaking was hard, they go with the bogezi. Do you know why they go with the bogezi? Do you know why they go with the bogezi? It's because the other family will just be saying, but now you look, you made our daughter give birth to 2 kids before you came for the introduction. Those are 100 cows. If you do not have a mortgage to actually say, they were still young. That's why they had to go into these things of pregnancy and all that. But actually, you see the economy. Let's do 10 cows from 100 to 10. Negotiation.
Yeah.
So you learn these things. Learn how to negotiate. There are books on negotiation.
Influence.
YouTube is full of people teaching negotiation. And lastly, I will add, I picked this from someone.
Yeah.
It must have been some auntie of mine called Auntie Grace. She said, your job description won't give you a promotion. A promotion will come from the things you will do outside your job description.
Oh, yeah.
Because a salary increment, they look at your job description and they say, but we wanted a receptionist at 400. Why would this receptionist want 500? Let's just look for another receptionist at 400. But when this receptionist says, I will appear early here and clean the office and save the company expenditure for cleaners, I will be now the one to take the records. I will learn how to keep records and learn Tally and QuickBooks. So I'll be the receptionist, but also accounts and administration. They will pick you from receptionist and say, for you deserve to be a manager. Now manager, when they take you to manager, you find it has more money, other monies. So if you want to rise, you must be looking at the other departments outside your job description. That's why I was telling you that I was hired as IT. But because I was training people how to make money, I became an international trainer and they put me on a Harvard Business School course. That's how they play the game of being on job and earning more from what you know.
And knowing your work.
Yes.
Lastly, it would be unfair for me not to really table this. A young lawyer is asking. And, lately, the young people...
A young lawyer?
Yeah,
okay.
A young lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah. I am a young lawyer.
Okay.
And I just want to speak to this. Lately, people are going through what we call the microwave theory.
Okay.
Like, put me in there in 5 minutes, I'm hot enough, I'm ready for a meal.
Okay.
I get into work, in a year, I want to be manager.
Okay.
Which is not a bad thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're not patient with the process.
Okay.
You know, you're learning, I don't know, clerkship or, you know,
Yes.
the stages, the
Yes.
different stages.
Yes.
And I'm probably being given 50K a week.
Yes.
One of the, at least that one is an actual experience.
Yes.
Someone said, I'm being given 50K per week and I just graduated LDC.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, that's a good start. 50K a week, you're not paying any serious bills yet. Hone your skill, and before you know it, you'll probably be in a very big farm, romance and whatever, or in a very corporate world doing all these sorts of things.
Absolutely.
So he's saying, I am a young lawyer, but the profession hasn't given me much.
Okay.
Microwave theory. I am not too strong in business, still grappling with secondary sources of income. Please advise areas I can start looking into with my little savings.
Okay. I'll actually start with this.
And that will be our closing question to you.
And that's what I realized. That, do you know that I actually charge as a financial advisor? People don't call me and say, I want to buy this land and this land, but which one should I choose? I realized that when people realize that you are a lawyer and you know the law, they just call you and you give out advice, free of charge. As a young lawyer, you need to start putting a price to the advisory. And you say, what are you struggling with? Letters of administration. Okay. I'm going to give you an opinion, a legal opinion. But if you do not mind, please deposit 30K on my phone.
Yeah.
Because a lawyer's words are his stock in trade.
Yes.
You go on collecting that 30K, you realize that actually you've now put the people around you into a habit of first paying for the advisory. People used to just come in my WhatsApp. I want to buy land. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I changed it by saying, you call my personal assistant. So we started charging 30K. We went to 50, went to 100, went to 150, went to 100. To this very day that we charge 600,000 an hour
for a consult.
For a consultation for business advisory. I realized for law has a lot of opportunities. They can do anything they want with the little money. But this is what I have to say. Saving the money
with the little savings
little savings you have. The moment he has not mentioned the how much, you could find his little savings at 10 million. You could find his little savings at 500,000. So he knows as a lawyer that as lawyers we do more research on asking, making further inquiries. So this conversation here might not actually customize what he can do because I lack the information on the little savings. I might tell him, put it in a unit trust. But then you realize that if you put 100 million in a unit trust, it only makes you 1%, which is 1 million. So he should get, he could get financial advice, actually paid financial advice to be guided. What I realize is the period to transition from university to your actual making it is hard. The reason it's hard, it's because the world wants experience. Look at the world as a moving vehicle. It wants a driver that can drive the moving vehicle. The world will not stop because you can't drive a vehicle. But they want that when they get you on board, you know how to drive. Where will you get to know how to drive? By going to a law firm. So because a law firm knows it is teaching you how to drive the moving vehicle, it is reluctant because it knows it's giving you something more valuable than a salary. So I would just encourage all the lawyers, like we all are, if you're in clerkship, you hang in there. You live on the bare minimum, but you make the network. Let them know you're very good at reasoning. Let them know you're very good at articulation of the law. One client like this will be impressed and will say, but I met you somewhere. Hey, yeah, I met you during clerkship. I'm struggling with this. And that one thing will give you a breakthrough.
So graduation doesn't mean that you're a master of the trade.
Absolutely
You
not.
learn.
You actually haven't. You do not have the society wants experience. It's
Exactly.
the currency.
So dearest young lawyer, be patient with your experience, learn the process,
Yes.
open your eyes and ears and make money with what you have and
Hone
grow
the
your wealth
skill.
like that. Hone your skill.
Yes.
Thank you so much, our dear listeners. We've come to the end of our
We
webinar.
haven't.
No, we're coming to the end of our webinar, and I would like my guests here, Newton and Andrew, to give us their parting shots
Before they do the parting shots, they're going to do the
Surprise.
parting shots, and I need to take her back for training. Clearly, she graduated, but has not gotten the expertise. I definitely think it's a conversation that goes on and on and on, and
Yeah.
we are making up for a few minutes that we lost. But thank you, Newton, for those kind words. Thank you, Andrew, for those.
For the
I mean,
education.
so I have something here from Jackson saying, thank you. You know, sometimes when you can't make it, you get near to the people who have made it. So even Nakuti today has made it because people here are saying, thank you for bringing those gentlemen and ladies. It's a collective thing.
Yes.
Thank you, Jackson, for appreciating these persons. Just to bring this to a close and for people not to feel like they are being sent to the well without jerry cans. When Newton calls for experience, I just want, experience is showing up. You are there. But what will actually get you paid is the expertise.
Yeah.
Because when I woke up this morning, I got experience. I am experiencing Loboa.
Absolutely.
But what expertise am I picking? Can I actually pick someone from the gate and tell them this house is this much? Have I?
Yeah.
So
This is how they
experience
arrange.
without knowledge, experience without skills. In all this that we are doing, and just as Newton says, let's get into a conversation that is customized.
Yeah.
Because in the first case, why did you start saving?
Yeah.
Why did you? Reason is so key. The bit about Smart Life is it's giving you that flexibility to do what you want to do, but we need to make sure you're not just doing things for just.
Yeah.
When you say I do not drink, and you are very, very comfortable telling everyone how you have good behavior, you're not drinking.
Yeah.
You need to be able to further go and show someone that I do not drink, and the money for drinking is here.
Yeah.
It's not good enough to say I am not drinking, because the person who's drinking is going to show you, I have drunk 10 crates, they have accountability. But you who's not drinking, you can't show us the money equivalent to the 10 crates you have saved. So we have to get into that bit, and the flexibility of Smart Life
Behavior.
gets you into that that conversation and to hone your behavior. Yes, you were saving, now you want the money. You haven't done, you have just postponed an expense. You need to save at all. But let's have that conversation. But be assured, Smart Life has the flexibility to take care of that. Newton,
Sir.
Buteraba,
Sir.
Headmaster, sir, please
Sir,
finish it.
Headmaster.
Thank
Sir.
you so much.
I was
Here
making...
we do homework, and we want
Yes.
to share with persons.
Yes.
And before even you share, I want to share a book. Between last webinar and this webinar, we are given homework to read books.
Yeah.
The last person we hosted told us she's the president of the book club.
He's my old boy in SMARC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He has an amazing story. What is that one book, one podcast, one thing? And you're going to put this with your closing remarks, because as we wind up, that you are telling these persons out there that, please, this is your homework. The next time we come for webinars, you need to have done one of these.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Headmaster, sir. When they usually ask me about books, for some reason I send people back to the books. So I tell people to read the Bible, and I tell people to read the Quran. For example, I'll just give them three verses. I want people to read. I want people to read Ecclesiastes as a book, which is in the Old Testament. But in particular, I want them to read Ecclesiastes 9:11. 9:11 is befitting for this scenario. It is saying the race is not for the swift.
Yeah.
The people who are actually skilled in running are not usually the ones to win the race. And they say the battle is not for the strong. And they highlight that we are all tamed by time and chance. If you now read that Ecclesiastes 9:11 and you read it together with Ecclesiastes 8:7, Ecclesiastes 8:7 is saying none of us knows about tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if we do not know about tomorrow, then we better off start thinking about tomorrow. And how it calls a question of humility on us. It calls a question of trying now to understand what do they want us to do in this world. And I'll finish by saying perhaps they want us to James 1:22 everything. James 1:22 is saying, don't just be hearers of the word. Put in practice. We have had these conversations. When did we start these webinars? I was today informed I was the first webinar panelist.
Exactly.
But which year was that?
That was 2019.
2019. Now, imagine if anyone, because in that webinar, I must have talked about saving.
Yep.
Anyone who saved in that webinar and they go into a culture of saving, they have saved for 5 years.
Yep. 60 months.
It's actually approximately like 6 years. Anyone who was thinking about investing, their land, in 2019, the land I bought in Wachiso at 13 million is now 32. So those who invested in 2019, those who saved in 2019, everything just grows when you put it to rest. The issue is, people will say, mwana, we've been never done. But they won't put into action.
Yeah.
True.
And that is us backwards. So I will, if they want a book, I've read very many books. I've done very many courses. But it somehow perplexes me when I read a very interesting chapter in a book and I'm like, but this is what Ecclesiastes says. This is what Jesus says. This is what is in the Quran. This is what I read in the Bible. So I realized that most of the things we're going through, they all pick from the Bible. So I would tell people, read Proverbs. It's a full book. Read Ecclesiastes. It's a full book. Relax. Put into practice.
Thank you, Newton.
Yes.
I'm going to Claire next, because in this class, even the moderator has to share that. Let me bring this out, and yes, we are 15 minutes late, but we will make up for the time. Yeah. But one thing was said when you talked about Joseph and Potiphar.
Yes.
This time I got a new thinking about it, because when Potiphar actually left prison,
when Joseph left prison, yes,
we no longer hear of the Potiphar's wife.
Actually, all we remember, he was put second in command.
Yes, he was second in command. Now, most times, I'm saying this in relation to networks. When we build networks, most of us capitalize on those networks that put us in bad places. So when you make it, you're now going after.
True.
She did this to me. I just thought that is another whole. But this guy moved forward.
True.
Second in command, nothing like I will take revenge on that person.
True.
Nakuti, Claire. Change manager. She's a change manager at NSSF.
Behavior change.
Behavior change manager. What is that one book, one video, one billboard? Here we count billboards as reading. What is that one advert you want to leave as homework for this class?
Okay, given what we've been talking about in this webinar, I'm big on people, so Talent is Never Enough by John C. Maxwell. It's a very deep book, small volume, but you'll learn a lot from it.
Talent is
never enough.
Thank you.
John C. Maxwell.
Anything you want to say about that? Just one thing about it so that people understand.
Yeah, and because, okay, one thing that really is spelled out big in that book is that we delve a lot on our talent. We show off a lot on our talent, but talent won't take you places. And I like what you said in the beginning, and I wrote it down in my book. What are we and what is wealth? It's behavior, habits, and attitude. You see, those are not things that we learn in school. They are not things that we're going to learn from a lecture. So you come with your talent, but you do not have these three things. You don't have the behavior, you don't have the, And then it's not even taking you where you ought to have been,
True.
given who you are. So getting into that book will give you a sort of education and lecture that will enable
Put you
you
in
to be
that
a
pos-
better person, a
Definitely.
better version of who you are right
Definitely.
now. So it's like a Bible. I move with it in my laptop bag, by the way. Every time I'm coaching or referencing to the younger generation, it's something I talk about because we miss these things in school. We miss these things at campus. Then we come in the workplace and we're such a mess. But yes, you're the best accountant, you're the best coder, you're the best I don't know what. But if you do not hone that soft skill, then you won't go places. Yeah.
Thank you.
So in a nutshell, that is what the book is about. Podcasts, I'm very big on Simon Sinek because he brings out what a work culture is supposed to be and behavior, and he knows one of the projects I'm running. So for me, I listen to him a lot. He's always on replay. So I don't have any particular podcast that I'll point you to, but he's so big on YouTube. Just go listen. Put Simon Sinek. You'll
Thank
get
you
everything
very,
you need
very
to know
much.
about it.
I am opening up a can I may not be able to close.
Please
But thank you
don't.
so much. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Claire. Andrew,
Yeah.
the full name? Andrew.
Mwesi-
Andrew
No,
Mwesi.
no. When are you replying?
Oh.
Andrew.
Miss.
Hey.
Mr. Headmaster.
Sir, Mr. Headmaster,
Hey,
sir.
thank you. What is that one thing you want us to go out? What are you tasking? One of the things, and congratulations, I want to congratulate the NSSF team. When we go out there to look for faces of poverty,
Yeah.
it's very easy for us to close our eyes and point at any sports person, former sports person, and we will pick them and put them on a billboard
Yeah.
because they are not doing well.
Yeah.
But today, it's a different face of you are not a face of poverty, you're a face of progress.
Yeah.
And thanks to the NSSF team that they are not the ones that made this, but they have at least highlighted this about you. What is that one thing you want to leave out there that people should pick up and then they would say they are glad they came to this webinar?
That one thing I would say,
Could be a book, it could be, but whatever it is.
you know, it could be a saying.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that could be talent without education is valueless, and the reverse is true.
Oh, thank you so. I need to admit that when we had a small background check when we were going to meet you. We've met before, but this time we do it.
Yeah.
And someone came into the room and told us, if Andrew doesn't talk about education in sports,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then he has killed the bit. So they even told us if he doesn't say that he doesn't like this the sports fraternity.
Yeah.
There are so many sports people that are gnashing or they are failed to advance because they have no education. They actually, after football, what can they do? They don't have A6.
Yeah,
so
true.
I resonate
And
with that.
it is very complicated these days that even to become a coach, you need to have a senior 6 certificate.
Exactly, and
So if-
most of them don't have that.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. Oh yeah, I've been told to check my WhatsApp. A very small minute. I need to reply to this. Smart Life. People are asking about Smart Life. Sarah Ntongo is saying, "Help me as a stay-home." We may not answer all this, but what we are doing is help me as a stay-home mom looking for who left the job market 14 years ago and embarked on child rearing. Now wants to get back on the job market after kids have grown up. Mama has a diploma, degree, and a finalist to achieve masters in humanities, work and experience. How can I overcome this obstacle? One of the things we do as NSSF is we have these circles where we can loop people in to have these deep conversations, one-on-ones, because we may never solve all these on this particular show. This person with a business of school, out of school, they have just been answered about when they were talking to the lawyers. I hope you listened. Smart Life is coming up so much. Mr. Musaz Stewart said, I have just joined Smart Life. I am so excited. Ladies and gentlemen, there is that point in life where you feel you have accomplished something.
Exactly.
And today that accomplishment can be, I hope our QR code is up there. Just do something. As I was beginning, I was saying there are those people with valued mouths, but clean hands. You are not
Yeah.
doing anything.
Yeah.
They say so many things, they
But
do
they don't
nothing.
want to go in
To
the
do just
trenches.
do one thing. And the law of compounding says just do one thing
thing,
daily.
yeah.
I mean, we can talk and now start another topic, but we may not be able to do this. Thank you so much, NSSF, for doing this. Thank you so much, the back office team. Fenon does this for us. They have been doing this for us for a very long time, and we are thankful. From the NSSF team, financial literacy, and the panelists, Newton, Andrew, Claire, thank you so much. We will see you again last Friday of June. Have a good day.
Imagine waking up to a dream where luxury meets tranquility. Welcome to Solana Lifestyle and Residences, a sanctuary of elegance where every detail is curated for your comfort. From impeccable security to serene garden pathways, Solana offers more than a home. It's a lifestyle. Now, your dream is within reach. Solana's exclusive New Year's sale is here. Buy your home today, starting from just $139,000 US. Solana Lifestyle and Residences, now ready for occupancy. Live, work, play, and shop the Solana way. As the sun rises across Uganda, a new dawn in luxury living awakens. Solana Lifestyle and Residences is Uganda's newest, most prestigious and award-winning lifestyle destination, an address for those who dream differently. At Solana, you're close enough to the hustle of the city, but far enough to come home to a sanctuary of smart living. Join a community of like-minded individuals where everything is taken care of and safety and security come standard, where each community has a clubhouse, play area, pool, and other incredible features. Let an oasis of calm greet you at the end of each day with manicured gardens, pathways, parks, bicycle tracks, and so much more. Whether you're upscaling or settling down, buying a first home or investing,
Solana has it all. Uganda is now open to the world.